Ethan Carter had learned to be careful with numbers because as a single father in Miami, he knew that one small mistake could have serious consequences. He worked as a junior financial analyst at a rapidly growing technology company led by CEO Olivia Grant. Ethan wasn't one of the company's most powerful executives, but he was respected by colleagues for his attention to detail. He regularly stayed late reviewing financial reports while thinking about his young daughter Mia. Who was the reason he worked so hard? One Monday morning, the company announced an emergency board meeting. Olivia was preparing to finalize a multi-million-dollar acquisition that would supposedly expand the company into several new markets. The executives were excited. Investors had been waiting for the announcement, and everyone believed the agreement would make the company even more successful. Ethan was assigned to review the financial documents before the meeting at first. Everything looked normal. Then he noticed something strange. A section of the acquisition agreement referenced a transfer of intellectual property rights that didn't appear in the executive summary. Ethan read the clause twice. It wasn't just about buying another company. The agreement would give the acquiring partner control over several valuable patents and a significant portion of the company's voting rights. Ethan's heart began racing. He immediately checked the attached financial schedules. The numbers didn't match. Someone had intentionally separated important information across different documents. Ethan printed the relevant pages and rushed toward the boardroom. Inside, Olivia stood at the head of the table. "We've completed our final review," she announced once I signed this agreement. "The acquisition will officially move forward." She picked up the pen. "Please don't sign that." Everyone turned. Ethan stood near the door holding the documents. Olivia stared at him. "Ethan, this is a board meeting. I know you're a junior analyst. I know that too." One executive laughed nervously. Olivia raised her hand. "Let him speak." Ethan approached the table. "This contract contains a clause that transfers control of several patents and voting rights." Olivia frowned. "That isn't part of the agreement we approved. It's buried in the final legal version." The room became silent. Olivia took the document from him. She read the section carefully. Her expression changed. "Who prepared this?" Ethan looked toward the legal department. "Daniel Ross." Daniel, the company's senior legal advisor, immediately stood. "This is a misunderstanding." Ethan shook his head. "No. I checked the previous version. That clause wasn't there." Daniel's face tightened. Olivia looked between them. Why was it added? Daniel couldn't answer. Immediately, Ethan placed another document on the table. "I found 3 unusual transfers connected to the company we're acquiring." Olivia stared at the numbers. The room suddenly felt colder. Someone wasn't simply negotiating an acquisition. Someone was trying to take control of her company. And Ethan had just stopped the CEO from signing away everything. Olivia immediately ordered the boardroom doors locked and instructed everyone to remain inside until the documents could be verified. Daniel Ross tried to stay calm, insisting that the unusual clauses were merely part of standard acquisition procedures. But Ethan wasn't convinced. He opened his laptop and displayed the financial records he had been studying for days. These transfers happened through 3 separate consulting companies. Ethan explained all 3 were created recently, and each one received payments connected to this acquisition. Olivia leaned closer. "Who owns them?" Ethan brought up the registration records. The room went silent. "Daniel Ross has indirect connections to all 3. Daniel immediately shook his head. "That proves nothing." Ethan clicked to another document. "The companies also share the same legal address." Olivia looked at Daniel. "Is that true?" Daniel didn't answer. The chairman of the board, Robert Hayes, stood from his chair. "Daniel, you have 5 minutes to explain." Daniel finally admitted that he had worked with an outside investment group, but claimed he had never intended to harm the company. Ethan opened another file. "This email says otherwise." The message showed Daniel discussing a plan to acquire controlling shares after Olivia signed the agreement. Olivia's face hardened. "You were trying to take control of my company." Daniel became defensive. "You built a valuable company, but you refused to listen to investors." "I was creating a better future for yourself." Olivia replied. Security was called. As Daniel was escorted from the room, Olivia looked toward Ethan. "You knew this could put your job at risk." Ethan nodded. "Yes. Why did you do it?" Ethan glanced at his phone where he had a picture of his daughter. "Because thousands of people work here. Their families depend on those jobs. I couldn't stand there and watch something wrong happen." The chairman smiled. "That is exactly the kind of judgment this company needs." Olivia offered Ethan a senior financial position. He hesitated. "I appreciate it, But I don't want a promotion just because I stopped a mistake. Olivia smiled. It's not because you stopped a mistake. It's because you had the courage to speak when everyone else was ready to stay silent. Ethan accepted over the following weeks. The company strengthened its internal controls and launched an investigation into the acquisition scheme. Several hidden financial connections were uncovered, confirming that Daniel had been working with a rival corporation. One evening, Ethan returned home. His daughter ran toward him. "Daddy," he hugged her tightly. "How was your day?" Ethan smiled long. She looked at him curiously. "Did you save your company?" Ethan laughed, maybe a little. Mia smiled proudly. Olivia later called Ethan personally. "I wanted to thank you again." Ethan replied, "You don't have to." "Yes, I do." Olivia said, "You reminded me that sometimes the person with the least authority can see the most important truth." Ethan smiled. He had entered the boardroom as a junior analyst. He left it as a trusted leader, and the company remained in the hands of the people who had built it. Honestly,